Welcome back to the CTV News. Outstanding St. Lucian folk musician and cultural activist Frank Norville died on the morning of April 8 at the Victoria Hospital. The much-loved gifted musician would have celebrated his 71st birthday on April 10. In 1964, he launched the Scouting for Talent program and later joined the St. Lucia Arts Guild. In 1968, he became a member of the Hellenites, producing the island's premier recording of St. Lucian folk music. In 1983, Norville compiled and published what was the first and is still one of the most researched collections of St. Lucian songs, Songs of St. Lucia. In 1986, he became a cultural field officer of the Ministry of Education and Culture, where he worked closely and for many years with Jake Scumpton, who is now deceased. 3 years later, he followed up his first publication on St. Lucian songs with a booklet on St. Lucian dance entitled Folk Dances of St. Lucia, Traditional and Ethnic. Frank Norville spent many years conducting workshops in both music and dance in districts such as Soufrière, Vieux-Fort, Dennery, Monrepo, Choiseul, Labrie, and Babonneau. The late 1980s would also see this talented maestro of folk expression serve as officer in charge of 2 national contingents to London for the performances of Teja and his brothers and participation in Caribbean Focus. Frank Norville also represented St. Lucia throughout the Caribbean, including French Guiana and St. Croix, as well as the Republic of the Seychelles, all the while teaching and performing St. Lucian folk music. Between 1992 and 1994, Frank Norville conducted regular summer folk dance workshops in Tobago. In 2001, Frank Norville released Sweet St. Lucia, a compilation of 28 original songs, traditional and contemporary, in English and Creole. Throughout his life, Frank Norville was devoted to sharing St. Lucian folk culture at every opportunity to promote and preserve St. Lucian tradition for generations to come. The brand that is St. Lucia Jazz is proving to be not just a premier attraction for persons around the world, but musicians as well. So much so that they are willing to incur cost to be on the lineup. That has been revealed by the chief organizer of Jazz on the Square, Adrian Auger, of Landmark Events at the launch of the City Concert Series.
Also say that such is the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, that we have at least 3 of the performing groups this year paying their way to come to St. Lucia. So when they actually approach us, sometimes we say, well, if you want to get on the lineup, getting yourself to St. Lucia is an important part of how that can happen. And as with last year, we encourage people to get themselves here. If you want to be on the lineup, get yourself here. And it speaks to the value that people attach to getting St. Lucia Jazz Festival on their CV. And that is the value of the festival that we have built over these last, how many years?
The lineup for the 3-day affair include Monty Maxwell, Ronald Bohingston, and Sunday.
All the way from Cayenne, led by a gentleman who in fact has St. Lucian roots. And they're coming to St. Lucia. This is a folkloric drumming band. They've infused traditional rhythms with African rhythms and French Creole rhythms, and they're going to be here on Wednesday. TFO is one of the examples of a promoter who actually approached us and said, we'd like to come to Jazz on the Square. And this combination has been put together specifically for Jazz on the Square. And even the police are going crazy over this lineup. So we have a Bajan saxman, Elan Trotman, who is a student of Berklee Music College in Boston. So that speaks to the quality of his work. And a very young, talented 19-year-old songstress, Kristen Walker, who's also joining him. I think this is going to be one of those never before, never again sort of performances. Needs to be seen.
Also on the card, Humphrey Inglis, Miguel Ciso out of Venezuela, and Soul to Soul. Jazz on the Square will be staged May 6th to the 8th.